The Brad Rules!
So we took a look at Deltarune Chapter 3, and despite some fan criticism, I proclaimed that I greatly enjoyed it despite some deviations in game design that seemed to turn people off. So now it's time to look at Chapter 4, and it's certainly what I would consider a return to form, and then some. Chapter 4 definitely has a melancholy feel to it with a gloomy atmosphere that takes place mostly in the sanctuary. With stained glass windows, a labyrinth-like design, many bookcases, and secrets abound. It's really fun to explore, and it was filling me with very mysterious vibes, like endless lore awaited to be revealed at every turn. And if you thought things couldn't feel any better, your ears are serenaded with this incredible music. Now, unfortunately, there's some copyright problems here on YouTube with the music, so you'll just have to listen to it in the background for right now. I would usually not have my commentary covering up the music, and I would usually give you a little sample, but I don't want this video to get copyright claimed. Well, anyway, wow, talk about conveying a mood through music. Toby Fox has certainly perfected this art. This piece is sweeping, heartfelt, and encapsulates all that we've experienced in Deltarune and what's to come at this point. It's like the perfect piece of music, and speaking of lore, that's exactly what we got. We encounter the Roaring Knight, who creates a Titan after opening a second fountain, which we heard about in Chapter 2, and it's pretty awesome to say the least, because we get to climb the Titan to do battle with it. But that's only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to fighting the Titan, as you'll go on to do battle with the Titan in the different form, where you'll need to bring down its shield and be forced to deal out damage to him, which is something we saw for the first time in Chapter 3 when we faced off against the Roaring Knight. I mean, maybe you did, but I didn't attempt trying to beat the Knight. I wasn't in the mood to attempt to beat him in what becomes a Sans caliber difficult fight. But it is mandatory to beat the Titan, and you will literally not be sparing him, as Rousey tells you this creature cannot be reasoned with, making the fight take on a special meaning, as you know you're dealing with something truly evil. The music is also fucking amazing here. I mean, dear lord, this is a banger track. And this is only a fraction of what we get in Chapter 4. As I mentioned before, we get a climbing mechanic, and we'll use it to climb bookcases and walls, and we'll also be searching for sheet music that enables us to play these pianos so we can progress. And there's also these creepy dark areas as we are forced to explore in the dark. Honestly, I could have done without these parts. It's just a little frustrating, nothing crazy or anything, but scrounging around in the dark and bumping into walkway boundaries isn't exactly fun. It adds to the atmosphere, but I feel they could have handled these areas better. But it's not bad or anything. They're imperfectly manageable. I enjoyed the puzzles where we move bookcases around by playing the piano, and when we get to this part that takes you by surprise as the piano moves instead of a bookcase, making for a clever gag. And more emphasis on the fact that anything seems to be possible in the sanctuary. You'll find a bunch of these philosophers and these ghostly looking worshippers, and they're unsettling to say the least, especially in places like these weird rooms where the worshippers are all in a circle, and this unsettling statue room. They set the tone for this setting quite well. And when you think you've explored all there is to in the dark world, Susie will make her own, resulting in a different version of the Dark Sanctuary. It's quite clear that since you accessed it from the church in the light world, this is the dark world's version of a church, hence the worshippers. The stained glass and the prophecy being very much at the forefront. This makes the story feel grander and certainly makes Chapter 3 look a lot less consequential from a story standpoint and more of a transitional diversion. Gerson steals the show in this one, which is a character I had completely forgotten about from Undertale, and we had seen his headstone and a bench dedicated to him in the cemetery in Hometown. And man, this guy is an awesome, funny, and entertaining character. He is sort of a mentor to Susie, encouraging her to improve her healing abilities, and he is actually the secret boss for this chapter. You know, guys, I had no idea that there were Deltarune references in Undertale. I've been playing it recently for the 10th anniversary, and you guys can expect a video on that real soon, the 10th anniversary of Undertale. And I never realized that there is a Deltarune symbol up in Gerson's shop in Undertale. And he talks about the Deltarune and the prophecy, and that is just really crazy to me. I just, when I played Chapter 1, I had completely forgotten about those references. Anyway, this secret boss fight is pretty epic and unique, with shades of the fight with Undyne in Undertale, as we are blocking arrows and evading fast attacks while a truly amazing piece of music plays. This confrontation is challenging and fun, and Gerson shares even more lore with us throughout the fight. It's all just fantastically presented. Definitely a major step up from the letdown of making the Roaring Knight the secret boss winnable in Chapter 3. Playing this fight definitely makes the battle against the Gerson statue and Gerson coming to the rescue when fighting the Titan way more meaningful. So definitely make an effort to do the secret boss. I like how this is the first time the secret boss actually adds greater context to the overall proceedings. Also, could there be any more of a comfy and relaxing spot in a video game other than Gerson's study? I mean, this place just feels like home with that chill music, and the fireplace in this massive room is just a great set piece. Also, how can I not talk about the Jackenstein fight as we battle it out with this pumpkin-headed monstrosity shrouded in darkness as we navigate through mazes trying to gain more and more TP so we can use the Act ability Unleash, which shines a very bright light that weakens the boss. The boss dialogue is a reference to YouTube poops, which brings back many good memories of Bingus, as it's just overall a very fun boss battle. And before we even get to anything in the Dark World, we're treated to the most substantial Light World content we've gotten so far. Chris and Susie are on the hunt for the code to the shelter as they investigate at church and at Noelle's house. And the events at Noelle's house are quite eventful, as Chris once again tears out his soul and is in communication with an off-screen entity who I'd have to presume is the knight, even if he doesn't talk when he's on screen. We also get to meet Noelle's mother, Carol, the mayor of the town, for the first time, and speculation is running wild about her being the knight. But I'm inclined to believe it's actually her older daughter, Des, who has been absent for all 4 chapters, and we find a code for the shelter inside her guitar. I'm predicting she'll probably make her appearance in Chapter 5. Also, we will get a chance to fight Mike. Well, 3 Mikes, and they're not even really Mike. The fight has a unique mechanic where you actually don't have the ability to attack or act, but instead you'll have to use your mouse and a microphone. But you can actually assign the microphone function to your right click on the mouse. The fight is very unique and weird, like I'm not sure why we have to use this weird gloved hand to rub the mics, and it's left ambiguous as to if Mike really exists or not, so it's up in the air if the concept of Mike is already done with. We end things with Sans and Toriel having a good time dancing. It seems as if Toriel is drunk, falling on her ass in a pretty entertaining scene. We then see Chris going back to being seemingly possessed as the unseen entity talks to Chris once more, mentioning to not forget about his promise. It's going to be hard to wait for Chapter 5 because, dear Lord, did Chapter 4 hit in all the right ways. Chapter 3 definitely drew the ire of some fans due to its more laid-back nature, and as I mentioned after playing Chapter 4, it makes it evidently clear Chapter 4 is meant to be the chapter to really drive the story forward. That's not to say Chapter 3 should be looked at as an incompetent chapter, because it very much is a good chapter, but Chapter 4 is certainly superior. Chapter 4 did a phenomenal job of following up on so many things from the previous chapters, but still keeping many questions unanswered and raising even more questions. Toby Fox is a writer among writers, and Deltarune is one of the most engaging stories in video game history without a doubt. I'm invested in these characters and everything feels memorable, and when things pay off, they feel epic and satisfying, and that's all I can really hope for and ask for when it comes to a video game storyline while still delivering on fun gameplay. If you haven't played Chapter 4 yet, please do yourself a favor and do so. So guys, that just about does it for this review. Please let me know in the comments down below, have you played Chapter 4 as of yet? And if you have, what do you think? And if you haven't, has this review convinced you to give it a try? I'd love to know, so let's discuss it in the comments down below. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell to get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. I want to thank all my subscribers for your continued support, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.